Let me ask you this. What's the wildest thing you've ever seen in an adult shop? Because these two, they've seen it all. Welcome to Attention is the Currency, the show where we sit down with people turning heads, building momentum, and earning their spotlight by doing something real. Because in today's world, attention isn't given, it's earned. Whether you're building a brand, a movement, or message, what you do with that attention can change everything. So if you're ready to learn from those who've cracked the code, or you're one of them, one of them have cracked the code, you're in the right place. And today we're going to going full tilt. You've heard the jokes, you've seen the TikToks, but have you met the legends behind the counter? I'm joined today by Vanessa and Kelly, aka B1 and B2, the duo behind the Spicy Bananas podcast. They've spent years together in the adult shop world, and yes, they've seen it all. But behind the laughs and wild stories, they've built a podcast that's really helping people feel more confident, more curious, and a hell of a lot more comfortable with themselves. If you've ever felt awkward about talking that talk, they're the ones who will help you own it, laugh through it, and feel more at home in your own skin. So let's dive in. Thank you very much for joining me today, ladies.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Thank you, Daniel.
So today we've got B1 on the right, Vanessa, and B2, Kelly, on the
Yep.
left. Yeah, depending if you're seeing it on a mirror image on your screen,
Yeah.
one of the two. So we're going to start off with our first question. So tell us about your first meeting. How'd you meet? How'd you connect in the store?
How do we connect? Oh, goodness. So I've worked at the store for 19 years. Kelly has for 13 years. Originally started at our other store. Kelly did come over for a shift, and that was it. I said, she's not going back to that store. She's staying here.
Yeah, didn't leave.
Yep.
And we've been thick as thieves since.
Mm-hmm. And she's a real powerhouse. So yeah, you need people like this in your life and working for you too.
Well, we could already tell through the podcast that it was a wild dynamic straight away. You both relate, laugh, and it's almost like twins, like the bananas, two
kind
from
of
the same bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
do
get it all
that.
the time.
The one with the blonde hair served me, It's like, no, it wasn't me.
No.
Mine's grey.
So did the blonde come into the fact that where did the B1 and B2 concept come from? How'd that come about?
Okay. Probably very first off in our meetings with each other, we'd hang out on weekends together and talk shop.
Mm-hmm.
But meaning hang out on weekends, we would be drinking alcohol. So we called each other B1 and B2, Booze Hag 1 and Booze Hag 2. And then the banana theme just fell into place. So then we would be joking about bananas. We always called ourselves
B1 and B2.
Yeah. So that was a lot earlier in the piece. But yeah, bananas has always been a joke for us. We buy each other banana earrings, anything but lollies, because we don't really like the flavour of lollies.
Yes. No, not the banana lollies. The candy ones are nice, but not those powdery ones.
And we eat bananas.
Well, maybe we'll see a line of specialized banana lollies in the future with a bit of spice in them. Bit of spiced chocolate bananas.
Yeah.
Well, B2 arrived this morning eating a banana. I went, oh, come on. You're taking this too far.
Is that cannibalism?
Potassium.
Potassium. So at what point you've got an amazing dynamic, but at what point did you go, this needs to be a podcast and this needs to be put out there?
Well, my other half watches a lot of podcasts. He's a rep, so he drives and listens to a lot of podcasts also. So he got me onto a certain podcast, which I won't name. And we were away for the weekend, and he said, Ness, you got to watch this. So we're watching it. And then I just sitting there and I looked at him, I went, Kelly and I should do a podcast. And we just had that moment sort of thing. And he said, well, God, that's all you two ever talk about when Kel comes over. It's just constant shop talk. Why not share it with everyone? And and it sort of went from there.
Yeah, that's perfect. And then you've had some amazing guests on there so far.
We have. It's been good. The journey's been great.
I've been catching the episodes, and Yeah, they're fantastic, and excited to see many more.
Mhm.
Let's go to the adult shop days, because that's an interesting dynamic
Yep.
there, and people are very curious. I imagine whether they've been inside one or not. What's the weirdest or funniest thing that's ever happened to you in one of the in the shop?
Wow, there's so many.
Weird
And I mean,
or
combined
funny.
30 years, there's so many. There's so many that this one's done. But customer wise, gosh, I've had a lady walking through naked. I've watched people in the car park change into
From males dressing up into
a
women's
bikini and
clothing and putting their wig that's about 50 years old on and waltzing in the door.
a gentleman wearing tight pants with the third leg is actually sewn into it, and he came in with a massive erection and trying to keep eye contact without one making him feel uncomfortable. He knew what he was doing,
Hmm.
and sort of taking my uncomfortability out of, like, but the list goes on. I mean, I guess if you follow us when we do our podcasts and stuff between us, we will slowly flick through all of those experiences as they come to mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's
They're-
definitely the dynamic where there's a lot of the strange ones that come in, but then there's the people that are looking to be comfortable, just exploring themselves, and that's
Yes.
I find that's what your podcast really does.
Hmm.
And well, has there been a moment that you've both sort of backed out and disappeared out of the shop that was just, this is too much for me?
yeah. Yes, sometimes we need to have a little joke here and there. So, I might do something out in the back seams, and I might have a mankini on over the top of my uniform
Yeah.
and sort of do the walk past. And
As I'm serving someone at the counter, in my back view comes Kelly, but also something stuffed down the front too, which is massive. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding
a
me.
big dong I'll just put there and walk around with it, and she's like trying to keep a straight face.
Yeah.
So little things like that. Yes, we do take our job so serious, but
Yes.
sometimes you've really got to. We've
It
we
feels like we
need to have a
cancel
yeah,
every
we
day.
do. You got to be
You
funny.
got to have a bit of
We've got a
laugh.
sense of humor,
Yeah.
and we're normal people. That's what it comes down to. So
Well, that's what I love about your podcast, because you're really normalizing the comfort and everything.
Yep.
What's one thing people are too embarrassed to ask, but really should when they go into the store?
what they're actually in there for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Straight up.
We've got to try and chip away, and we don't know unless you kind of explain, is it for you? Is it for your husband or wife? Or is it for your friend? The amount of times I hear for a friend, by the
Yeah.
time you get to the counter to finalize your sale, and then you can reverse it around and say, what lubricant are you using and what cleaner?
Mm.
They'll say, I'm using this, I'm using that. It's like, bingo, I knew it wasn't
Oh,
for
that's it.
your friend.
Men are very closed off too, especially when it comes to erectile dysfunction. Of course, for them, it's just they just feel empty, lost.
Their manhood, and they've got to talk to
lose
it,
each other.
generally a female, about it, and they can be very embarrassed. And
Yeah.
it's like, we break it down by saying,
Well, the
Ness
normality of
goes,
it.
I've been here 19 years. It's nothing I haven't heard.
Mm.
And then I say, I've been here 13 years, and this is the first thing I trained myself on because I don't have a penis.
Mm. Or
So,
do you?
well, last time I checked, no.
Well, you can get those camping ones now. So
Sheep.
to-
The
the
sheep.
yeah, experience the experience.
Ooh, I'll pass on that one.
Yeah, well,
It'll dribble down my
standing up to
leg.
tea is a very
You
different
aim it the wrong
experience.
way and it'll go in her face.
It's on flight. It's on flight.
That sounds like it's high pressure. So, what's a really wild question somebody has asked you in the shops?
Oh, I guess I had once this guy look me dead in the eye and he asked, is this dishwasher safe? I was like, for the toy or your dignity? It's rinse and repeat. Use antibacterial cleaner.
So, you obviously meet a lot of nervous customers that have come into the store, stumbled across the place. How do you help them to ease those nerves?
I generally walk up to where they are. Um, they're normally usually awkward. They'll probably be red faced, or whispering, especially if they've walked in with someone else. And I generally say, well, you're not the first. and you won't be the last. So, let's find out what you need or what you guys need. And I said, I won't tell a soul. And then I go, oh, except for our podcast that we've got, and yeah, sort of break the ice a bit with them.
Yes. So they get to tune in on Spice of Bananas, and they could be a feature, but
Yeah.
anonymously.
Yeah.
How do you help people? Well, you really answered that already. You've broken down the nerves for them. You sort of walk
Yeah.
through and let them know that it's okay, because there's nothing you haven't really heard or seen before coming into the
No.
store. So
No.
breaking down those nerves, and really, what's a confidence tip for somebody walking into the store? Would they just, it's like what would you give them as that advice, that confidence tip?
It's sort of, I guess, when people first walk in the door, it's judging straight away. If they've been in here, are they comfortable where they're walking to? Do I fly straight up to them? We obviously acknowledge them when they come in. And some people, it's literally a beeline. And it's so common with people that are so shy, they go straight into the lingerie area, and you can tell how they're looking. They're not looking for that. You go over and say a little bit, and as they start to walk through, I say, "Oh, now you're on the fun side, awesome." And then I always kind of do say how long I've been there. There's nothing I haven't seen or heard. I said, "You're in the best hands." And one first thing, which is not a judgment of men, is thank God you're a female, and men say it too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we are the listeners, and
I
the
guess
not
it's
that
I
men
I
are,
guess
but
it's like going for a massage as well. People prefer a female, whether you're male or female,
Yep.
because
yeah,
you sort of see a female as being more less judgment on
Yeah.
on you.
yeah, very true, very true. But it's just relaxing them and making it feel so normal, and it is so normal. It's just such a taboo area.
It's
So
like, "Oh, I feel like I'm selling bread and flavored milk,
mm,
but we're going to get the right bread for you and the right flavored milk for you
Yeah.
today." It's a little bit of humor there, but then straight into,
cool questions,
yeah, what,
open-ended.
how, not how are you? It's what are we after
It's
today?
technically like a counseling session where we don't do all the talking. We grab certain things, pluck, and get them to tell us. And then our brains are going, okay, right, this is what they need. We won't let you walk out of the store with something you don't need. If we don't have it, we'll order it. We won't suddenly go, we'll take this. And we really want you to come back. We want you to go home with the right product
And
and that
yeah.
experience at the end of the day. So
And that's the beauty of having a store that you can walk into. Sometimes you don't get that experience online too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like come back into stores because then you get to see and feel and hear and talk. So,
yes,
Yeah.
touchy.
Probably
touchy
get
feely.
the advice on the feedback that you've got with people coming back to you for the second visit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Using that kind of thing to assist the next customer.
Yeah. Well, we've received emails, phone calls thanking us. People that were so embarrassed to walk in the door, then telling us that that toy was the best experience for them to open up and say that, either through a phone call or email. They've taken that time, so we've
Yeah.
really made a difference to them, and
Yep.
it's rewarding. So
Well, that's really the real deep life advice is around my next question.
Okay.
The people are coming in for, so they sort of come in and they ask for that life advice and the deep stuff that's there, because I imagine you're dealing with a lot of people that are struggling in their marriage, they're struggling with their intimacy, they are struggling with medical conditions and so on,
Correct.
because they're looking for that intimacy as a human being, they're looking for their intimacy,
Yep.
yeah,
so they are looking for that. Yeah.
The
yeah,
natural part
Nice.
of life. It's just sometimes it doesn't work in different stages of
Mm,
your life. So you need a little bit of help, and some don't want to go to their family doctor.
mm,
It's like, well, I can't ask my doctor that. I'll pop into an adult
mm.
store then. But, what am I going to say to them?
Yeah,
Well,
well,
that's it.
you're
It's
the counselors behind the counter.
We actually are
So,
without the certificate.
yeah,
yeah, no, definitely. Well, when you've got so much experience of people for so many years of working with them, and seeing the advice that has worked, and seeing the things that they're excited about and light up and come back for.
Hmm.
So, what do you love most about doing the Spice Bananas now, from the podcast, from it being going from the store to doing the podcast now? What is the thing that you're loving?
I think it's come out of our comfort zone to a degree, but I feel now that we can actually empower a lot more people on a bigger level. So it's not just relying on people coming into the store now. We can actually do this online and explain exactly what we're all about and what we want to do. So that would be
well, it's passion.
Yeah.
It's our passion. The passion is being that we're helping people, keeping singles happy, keeping couples together. And it can happen as you said, medication, going through divorce, going all those sort of areas. We do see a diversity, and it's
and ages
massive.
from 18 to 80, even older than 80.
My oldest customer
was
92 and 94.
So
Yeah.
come on, you've come from an era and you've got 90-year-olds walking into an adult shop. Like, that was highly taboo. There was probably no adult shops when they were in their 20s, to be honest. They were probably sex shops or sex stores then.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah, well, it was an era that was very taboo, and they weren't allowed to discuss it. Everyone just had to suffer in silence. They couldn't explore themselves or other things that could help them.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone listening who would still thinks they couldn't walk into one of these stores, but
Just you need to
It's
give it a
going to the
go.
right store too.
Yeah.
Because there still are, and I'm sorry, other adult stores, there are still some ones that
We wouldn't even walk into, put
No.
it that way, and we're very open in this industry.
Yeah.
But do a little research, read the reviews so you get to know that store. Doesn't have to be your local store if you don't feel comfortable going to your local store, but do some reviews and research. You'll be quite surprised.
Yeah.
go a few suburbs over if you need to.
Yeah.
Now, look, there's some amazing staff out there in adult stores that we know a lot, and worldwide too, that we've met over the years. Excuse me. And it just takes one bad adult store and your first visit, and then it's word of mouth, which is such a powerful tool, can ruin it. So, and same with any industry. But it's reading the reviews, as B2 said, is a key. Contacting, and I'm a stickler for following up on customer orders. I run the website too, so I'm just customer service. It's
The biggie.
the experience.
Yeah.
The extensive view of the overall process for the client, for the customer, and definitely a podcast that needs attention for people to tune in, because it's very, very worthy of attention. That's why we have you on today. For attention is the currency.
Yes.
I know there's lots of humor in your podcast as well, and there's lots of great chats. But I think what we've really found that you're getting a lot of people on that have lots of knowledge. And originally, you sort of started off with the humor end of things, but it's been very healing what you're doing for people. Was this an intentional thing from the start, or was it something that sort of developed? Yeah,
I feel it was a bit of both. We didn't want anyone to feel like that we were, how's the word, taking the piss out of anyone.
No.
We actually wanted to help people, but most people can communicate a little bit better with a little bit of humor, so we wanted to throw in that little bit of humor too. But
That's just what we are, though.
Yeah, we're hilarious.
Yeah, we're so funny.
We're a bit spicy and hilarious. But we just wanted to, we are professional too in what we do. So, then we can get down to the nitty gritty, and then we can really talk professional. But sometimes I just find, a lot of people it's humor that gets you through a few different things
It
too.
definitely is. And the diversity of people that we have been interviewing is amazing. So it's, yes, ideally it was sort of getting people to understand what we do, the adult industry, but the diversity of people we've interviewed is just, it's
huge.
Yeah.
And it all does come back to sex.
Yeah. It'll crawl around.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, it's the intimacy, and as they say, laughter is the best medicine. So you're injecting the laughter and the intimacy and everything into the work you're doing. It's phenomenal. It's great work, and you're helping people feel seen and safe in the space that's often taboo. And obviously, your years of experience is driving that. Is as you go, as you've already mentioned before.
Mm.
And it's I guess you've seen a lot of people over the time that are experiencing these issues, and you've developed that kind of feel for them, that you want them to that that the message that you're pushing out there is what's helping. So what do you think is a confidence truth bomb that you can really drop in your listeners right now?
Confidence isn't about how you look. It's more about how comfortable you are being seen. And you don't have to be loud or perfect. You just have to be real about it.
Let's tell the viewers, why does spicy bananas exist?
Well, to be honest, we're already having these conversations behind the counter. And if people could hear them, they'd laugh, they'd learn, they'd stop feeling so weird about being human.
That makes a lot of sense.
Hmm.
And what's one message that you want your listeners to take away from tuning into an episode? One core message.
Poor message.
One core message.
I throw them at her when I'm like,
Um, trust your body and know yourself to open up and actually trust us or
Mm.
trust an adult store. Go in, just break the cycle, break the chain, break the boundaries, and just open up and go,
Rip the
right,
Band-Aid off.
I'm going,
Yeah.
Yeah.
peel back that banana.
Yeah.
But
oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, that's it. That's a
just
good
go
one.
do something. There's so many people that go, why have I waited so long
Yeah.
to walk into an adult store? It's like,
And we've
we
driven
don't know.
past so many years, and it's like,
Give it a go.
yeah.
Just do something completely different in your day.
It doesn't have to be about toys either. We sell lingerie. We sell games, novelties. It's just come in and have a browse through. It's not an old man sitting on a stool behind the counter flicking through some porn magazines.
Yeah.
It's you've got some really qualified staff there. I've had ER nurses, sexologists, all sorts of things who we've learnt from too. But
Then we have
everything from
doctors and nurses and
doctors are starting to send
that will come in.
clients
Oh, there's a bug. Pardon me.
I guess I guess a lot of people have seen the movies, and those that haven't been into the stores believe that it's like the movies, that you go into a seedy little shop and
Dark.
yeah, and
No.
they want these weird granny videos and things like that around the place, and the old guy goes, "Oh, you can take this and have a look at it in the back," and it's a sticky room out the back of the shop.
It's not as dark as your room is at the moment there, Daniel.
No, it's a bit Christmassy here today. Christmas in autumn.
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, well, we've got the fireplace going because it was heating up with the spice of bananas in the studio today.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's been a great chat. But where can people find the podcast and follow you and become honorary spice bananas on your show?
Okay. Well, you can email us too if you have questions at spicybananas.com. We're on TikTok. We're on info at spicybananas.com. See,
Well,
that's what
you did get the amazing domain of spiceofbananas.com. So it's nice and easy to find, which we'll
find, to
make sure that we
locate.
put in the link under our interview here so they can find it. And what's coming up next on the podcast? What should people be excited for?
Oh, there's quite a
there's
few
some good ones.
Quite a few really spicy and raw interviews coming out over the next probably 2 to 4 weeks. You really need to stay tuned. It's Spotify, YouTube, Rumble. You need to have a look because there's a couple that are really going to blow the lid.
Also, if you want to get on our podcast, by all means, flick us through and we'll organise a time to chat to you too.
Yeah.
So I saw a link on your website to apply for as a guest. So that's
You can apply as a guest.
Yes, follow our website. You'll find us through there. Spicy Bananas.
We're on Facebook. We're on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And now you got to definitely subscribe and follow the Spice of Bananas. If attention is the currency, what's something you think people should start paying more attention to in themselves or the world around them?
In themselves.
In themselves.
You've got to love yourself first before you love others.
So beautiful. Self-love is the
absolutely
core message.
Healthy.
That's amazing. Thank you very much, Bananas. If you've ever felt awkward, unsure, if you just wanted to hear real talk that's funny, open, and actually helpful, the Spice of Bananas podcast is for you. So Vanessa and Kelly are the real deal. Go tune in, laugh with them, and maybe even learn a little about yourself along the way. So B1 and B2, thank you for keeping it spicy, real, and relatable. That was a blast. To everyone listening, if this made you laugh, think, or feel seen in any way, go check out the Spice of Bananas podcast. It's raw, hilarious, and exactly the kind of energy the world needs more of. More attention for the Spice of Bananas. You'll find them in all major podcast platforms. I'll drop the links in the comments as well for the show. And feel free to make some comments for us as well. And anything that's funny, I'll make sure I pass on to the Bananas. And share this episode, tag a mate, and stay tuned because attention is the currency. And you just spent yours wisely.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you so much, Daniel.